Well, Arsenal looks like they're very serious to obviously bring in Viktor Gyokeres. And guess what? They've gone ahead to obviously make a personal terms offer to Viktor Gyokeres and his entourage. And guess what? It's a huge salary that Arsenal have gone ahead to obviously come up and really give this guy known as Viktor Gyokeres. And guess what? I think they're obviously gonna really get him because they're into the Champions League. They've beaten Madrid. That is really a very huge boost for any player who wants obviously cross sides, and he's really doing great as a player in there for you. Welcome to this channel known as the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. And this is the channel that brings you your latest news and information, and I want you to see guys subscribe such that we hit 30,000 subscribers, guys, because this is April, and can we really do the needful and see to it that we obviously click that number such that by the time, I think let's use April and May to hit that magic number, such that by the time we head into the transfers we are a 30k family in here. Now just Arsenal via the Arsenal London came out and told us that Arsenal are prepared to make Viktor Gyokeres one of their highest earners if he joins from Sporting Lisbon. The Gunners have been strongly linked with a move for a Swede since the arrival of Andrea Bartha, and now exactly how much they will offer to him has seemingly been revealed. And you've heard it very well that now, ever since Andrea Bartha came in through, the first player Arsenal pointed at was none other than Gyokeres, you know, meaning that Gyokeres is the primary target for Arsenal this summer transfer window. And to show you that it's their target, they've gone ahead to see to it that they put in a very huge shift to obviously get the player in, to an extent that when Arsenal was beating Real Madrid on Tuesday this week, his entourage was there at the Emirates and all went on well as planned. So that sent you a message that they are really superb and they obviously want to see obviously getting this player in. And now they told us how much Arsenal is willing to offer for Viktor Gyokeres, and we've been told that Arsenal are ready to offer Viktor Gyokeres a deal worth £10 million per season, with Chelsea and Manchester United are willing to match those wages. That works out around 192,000 per week. So Arsenal is willing to offer Viktor Gyokeres 192,000 pounds per week. That's what Arsenal is willing to offer to the guy. So we now know what Arsenal have gone ahead to put on the table, you get? And he's really doing a very huge showcase as a player in there. And I tell you what, he's really scoring goals for fun. I think he's sending a message to every team that needs him that please get me now. And for Arsenal, 192,000 pounds a week to Viktor Gyokeres will be really a very huge multiplication, and the multiplication effect is really huge, because if you get his current salary, you know, and what Arsenal is obviously going to be offering him, and you divide it, you obviously get to know that Arsenal have gone ahead to do what a huge multiplication into this guy's weekly wage. Remember, he earns 39,000 pounds per week at the side of Sporting Lisbon. So if you divide 192,000 by 39,000 pounds a week, let's see what the multiplication effect is gonna be. So the multiplier is 4.9, almost 5 times. So Arsenal is willing to obviously offer 5 times the amount of money Gyokeres is earning at the side of Sporting Lisbon to lure him into joining the club of Arsenal. And we note it that where Arsenal is right now, that's the amount of money that's supposed to be playing players, because these players are hugely competing. I was really looking at to the side of Real Madrid, the players that Arsenal went ahead to beat, when you're to compare one by one, David Raya, his salary, is really very little compared to that of Thibaut Courtois. The same applies to Mbappe and Merino, who is leading the line, Saka and Rodrigo, Vini and Martinelli. There are huge differences in there. So that confirms to you that if you want to go where the big boys are, you must be willing to obviously pay a lot of money to these players, because a player will obviously snap coming to your side and go to a side that is willing to offer him a very huge amount of money, But this time around, Arsenal is like, we don't want to lose any player. That is it. We don't want to lose any player at any juncture, because we know to it that all has to obviously give Arsenal what it deserves if they obviously go in for these players and they really pay for what they really need. And I think Arsenal ticks all now with the weekly wage being that, I think Arsenal has ticked all the boxes for really getting in this guy. That is it. I shouldn't miss my words on it. Arsenal is going to win this race. In that story, they've indicated Manchester United and Chelsea. They can't compete. They can't compete because Chelsea playing in the Champions League is really doubtful. You understand? Unless otherwise Arsenal really goes ahead to play in the semi-finals and finals of the Champions League, and maybe a fifth team will be really considered. But remember, that fourth and fifth place will be hugely contested by Man City. There is Newcastle. There is Chelsea. There is Aston Villa. There are like 5 teams that are really contesting for those 4 positions. And I tell you what, it's not going to come in easy, as Chelsea is really trying to obviously find itself back to form. They've gone ahead, obviously, go very many games without really winning. So I must tell you the truth that the side of Chelsea is really going to struggle to get into where these big boys are. You understand? And I would like to let you know that it's not obviously going to come easy as you anticipate. So, as it stands, all in all, Arsenal will win this race, because this is the last step they're obviously taking. And the moment you hear that personal terms have gone ahead to be agreed, then Arsenal will go to Sporting CP and they'll tell Sporting CP that, please, can you get us the amount of money? Can you really accept this amount of money? Sorry, can we really trigger that release clause? And it's around £65 million. And I think they'll obviously agree. As I told you, Arsenal want to get this deal done and dusted before, hear me out, before we even head into the summer transfer window. And if I told you here that Arsenal have gone ahead to sign Viktor Gyokeres by the end of this month or mid-May, don't be shocked, because Arsenal will be having 2 windows. I've already told you that there are going to be 2 windows. One, as teams head into the FIFA Club World Cup, and the other one that will open after the FIFA Club World Cup closes. So that's exactly what Arsenal have gone ahead to offer for Viktor Gyokeres, and you now know that Arsenal is ahead of every club because they've gone ahead obviously putting that money. And they're saying that even Man United is willing to offer that money, and Chelsea, but United will obviously get into the equation after they go ahead to obviously win what we call the UEFA Europa League. But if United don't really win the UEFA Europa League, I tell you, there is no way they are going to convince this guy to obviously come and really play at the club of Manchester United. And for that case, that's why I told you last week that Arsenal are really pushing hard to get this deal done before United wins or really plays well into the UEFA Europa League. And their game they played in the midweek, they drew 2-2 in Lyon. But I know we are going to knock out Lyon at Old Trafford. That is on Thursday. So let's go to Liverpool a little bit and really call it a day. It was official yesterday that Mohamed Salah had signed a new deal at Liverpool until June 2027. Agreement sealed and confirmed. He's staying at the club despite important proposals on the table from Saudi Arabia. Muslims will say he has gone ahead to defy Allah, but it's all about career, and if Allah gives him life, Salah maybe after 2027 obviously fly to Saudi Arabia to obviously make more money and obviously be near Medina and Mecca. Salah in his words said, I would like to say To our fans, I'm very happy to be here. I signed here because I believe we can win a lot of big trophies together. Keep supporting us and we'll give it our best, and hopefully in the future we are going to win more trophies. That's what Mohamed Salah really went ahead to say. And then his coach, that is Ancelotti, said, if I would put myself in the shoes of the player we might want to sign, it is always nice to tell them while presenting our project that Mo Salah has signed a new contract. So he's like, if you want to convince your players that please stay and really sign new contracts, one thing you have to do is to convince Mohamed Salah to obviously stay. Remember, the first big blow they got was all about a player known as Trent Alexander-Arnold, who found himself in a position of saying he's not going to renew his contract at Liverpool and was going to Real Madrid. And then they had two on the paper and they had to obviously get it right. That is Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk. But for Mohamed Salah, they've gone ahead to get it right. And for Virgil van Dijk, I know it's just a matter of time for him to obviously go ahead and renew his contract at the side of Liverpool. Remember, Salah and Virgil van Dijk's contracts were all ending this summer. The same applies to Trent, who really went ahead to obviously sent out a contract of Liverpool, and fans of Liverpool really went rowdy. They really banned his shirts, images, and they went ahead to troll him on social media. And I think fans have not gone ahead to obviously pay this guy what he really deserves. You know, I think the reciprocation has not been good. You know, he gave them good energy, and this guy has gone ahead to obviously offer them, the fans have gone ahead to reciprocate bad energy, which is really very bad for the side known as which is really very bad for the side of this guy called Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I know he'll put out a post at the end of the season and we'll see what will obviously happen. So guys, your thoughts on to Gyokeres' personal terms offer presented by Arsenal are welcome in the comment section below. And what do you make about Mohamed Salah signing a new contract at Liverpool? Bye bye.